Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Coach Matt, EliteThrowsCoaching.com, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the second big correction in the back of the circle. Now, this is video 2 of our 10-part video series, which is going to be going over some major faults and corrections in the glide shot put. Again, this is all based on a presentation that I did at the New England Track Coaches Clinic last year, so I wanted to bring this to all of you today. Now, before we get started, I just want to remind you, this is an old YouTube channel. This channel existed way before the days where you had to subscribe by clicking that button down below and where you had to click that notification bell right next to that to get all the notifications when we put out new videos. We have a lot of really cool things coming up. I'm currently rewriting the off-season training book, which is going to be done in the spring. Registration for our overnight camp, which is happening at the end of June this year at Allegheny College, is open and up on the website. And also, guys, we're going to be putting videos out like this once or twice a week throughout track season, not just on shot, but on discus as well, and on training during the season. So make sure, click that subscribe button right down below, click that notification bell right down below, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up, give it a like if you like it. It all helps out the channel and brings more information to coaches and throwers out there that need the help. Thanks for watching. Here is the second big correction in the back. Okay, so in last week's video, we talked about getting low in the back of the circle. And in that video, I gave you a little bit of a hint as to what today's video is going to be talking about. Today's video is talking about pushing off the heel when you glide out of the back of the circle. Now, a lot of people misunderstand or misconstrue what I'm saying when I say push off the heel in the back of the circle. What I really mean is that the last part of your body, the very last thing that touches the back of the circle, is your heel. Now, what we see a lot of times, especially when I do video analysis sessions for people online, or when I go to a track camp or a track clinic and start working with athletes for the first time, is that when they glide, instead of pushing off of their heel, instead of having the heel be the last thing that touches the back of the circle, they're trying to push off their toe, and they're trying to actually drive off the ball of their foot instead of having the heel be the last part of the circle, or the last part of their body that's touching the circle. Now, just looking at this from a biomechanics standpoint, this is just kind of how our body works. We want to get full extension out of the back. We want as much power, we want as much velocity, as much speed out of the back of the circle as we possibly can get, so that we can carry that speed into the middle and into the finish. We want to accelerate and explode and increase our speed as we go through that circle. Well, in order to do that, we need to get full extension out of our power leg. We don't want to see somebody glide and still have this knee bent. Well, when you learn how to do a squat, or when you learn how to do a lunge, what we're taught is that we push through a flat foot. We want our heels to be on the ground when we squat. We want our heels to be on the ground when we do things like a split squat or a lunge. You need to keep the heels on the ground. Keeping the heels on the ground allows for you, and I'll show you from the side, it allows for you to actually stand up and get full extension out of the leg. There's actually an exercise called a terminal knee extension, a TKE, if you want to look that up, using a band where you actually push the heel down and then extend so that your knee gets full extension, and it's a great warm-up and it's a great physical therapy exercise for people dealing with certain knee issues. But having the heel on the ground allows you to get full extension out of that leg. So by getting full extension out of that leg, you're actually able to provide a lot more power and a lot more explosiveness into that throw. So the question becomes, why not push off the toe? Okay, well, try this for me. Stand up, and I want you to get down into a squat position and then try to squat with your heels off the ground. Try to squat with just pushing through your toes. Now, unless you are super mobile, super flexible, it's going to be very hard for you to get full extension with the knee. You're actually going to have to start leaning back, and you'll probably lose balance before you get full extension with that leg. By keeping the heels on the ground, you get full extension, but if you're on the toes, very hard to extend. Okay? And what we need to look at basically is the way that our body moves, the way that our body works, is that it's hard to get full extension with that leg if you are up on your toe. Unless you are really, really flexible and really, really in the hamstring and really, really flexible in the calf, which, let's face it, a lot of younger throwers that are bigger, stronger guys and girls aren't always going to be super flexible in their calves and in their hamstrings. So getting them to push off the toe and think they're going to get full extension is just not something that we should be teaching. We want to look for that correction. That way when they push off the heel, we can get full extension with that leg. Now, one of the things that you have to realize is that this takes a lot of time to learn, and it takes a lot of coordination, and it takes a lot of practice to get someone to push off their heel, to get someone to leave that heel on the ground and let that be the last part that's touching the circle. So this is not a one-day correction. This is not something that you're going to fix in just one day of practice. This is something that you need to constantly work on and get your athletes to be very conscious of so that they continue to work on it at practice, even maybe when you're not there. So one of my favorite drills to actually teach my athletes what it means to push off the heel is to have them unseat into that A position. So a lot of coaches call this drill by a different name. A lot of coaches use sort of different ways to explain this. But what I like to do is I like to start my athletes in a position where they are actually on their heel in the back of the circle with their weight evenly balanced between their feet. So I'm not going to work on getting my center of mass back over the foot just yet. I want my athletes just to stand up, comfortable position, kind of get their balance, weight in between their feet, and all I'm going to do is stay up on the heel, and I'm just going to push, and I'm going to land on the toe. At this point, I don't care where my foot is. I just want them to know we've got full extension, we're on the heel, we're going to push off the heel, and we're going to bring the foot underneath. Now from there, you can start to kind of get them down a little bit farther. You can get their body down, you can get a big stretch in the hamstring, you can work on keeping their body lower, their head lower, and from there, try to pull that right leg underneath. What this is going to do is teach them that habit of pushing off the heel, keeping the heel on the ground, and then sucking that right leg underneath them. Now, what I would consider one of the most old school ideas about this is that you don't actually extend or that you don't actually push through the heel. Now, maybe this was something that was taught, 40, 50 years ago, but if you take a look at any of the good gliders from the past 20 to 30 years, they all push and get full extension and use that right leg when they're coming out of the back of the circle. The glide is not something where you just simply unseat and then just suck your leg underneath you. You have to push off the heel. You have to drive off the heel. You have to explode off the heel. If you take a look at Instagram or YouTube at any videos of gliders, top gliders from the past 20 or 30 years, pushing off of their heel, you can see the point where their quad flexes. David Storrell's a great example of this. If you go on Instagram, you can see David Storrell's page. He's always posting slow motion videos of him doing glides. And you can see the point where he's in shorts, the muscle is relaxed, the quad is relaxed, and as he goes to push, he gets extension, and his quad explodes into a big ball of muscle because he's a muscular dude. You can see it. So you can see that push, you can see that explosion that's happening off that right leg. This is not a passive movement. Yes, you need to unseat. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Yes, you need to let your weight shift backwards a little bit before you come out of the back of the circle. But the last part of your body touching that circle needs to be the heel, and you need to violently explode and push through that heel so that you can get a lot of speed, a lot of explosion, and a lot of velocity through that circle. All right, so that was video number 2 in our top 10 mistakes and corrections video series that we're doing here. Guys, thank you so much for checking out the video today. Please make sure to like and subscribe and get the notifications to this channel. New videos are coming out every single week. And also make sure all the stuff that's popping up, it's either over here or over here. I never remember what side it's on. All the stuff that's popping up, to subscribe to the channel, to check out our website, to check out the blog and the camps and everything else that we do. Make sure to give that a look, and we will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.